All right, now we are going to take a couple notes in our notebook. Okay, so now you're going to want to put your note sheet off to the side, and we are going to take some notes on how you can recognize if an equation has infinite number of solutions, or if it has no solution, or how am I going to know if it just has one answer, like the ones we've been solving, like x equals 5 or x equals 6. So we're going to take some quick notes in our notebook. All right, so I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go in your notebook, to the front of your notebook, and write a title at the top of the page, Special Equations. Okay, and I want you to draw this chart. Okay, so we're going to start by filling in what we know about no solution. So no solution means there is nothing that will work, okay? You might end up with something like this, 3x plus 4 equals 3x. Okay, that would be one example. Or you might end up with something like this. 2x plus 3 equals 2x plus 4. Okay, you also might end up, we're just putting some examples, like something like this. Maybe you end up at the end with 3 equals 4. That is not true. Okay, or you might end up with 0 equals 7. Not true. If you end up with any of these things, that means there is no solution. Nothing that you put in will work. Okay, some clues that will help you figure out if there's no solution is if they have the variables have the same coefficient. Remember, coefficient is like the 3 part. So like this right here. They have the same coefficient. But then there are different constants. And that would be like the normal like number part. So they have different constants, like for example, here, they both had the 2x. This one had a plus 3, this one had a plus 4. Okay, so this part was the same, but the 3 and the 4 were different. Okay, if you end up with anything like that, it means there's no solution. All right, let's move on to infinite solutions. So infinite solutions would be if you end up with the same thing on both sides, something like 4x plus 8 equals 4x plus 8. Or you end up with 4x equals 4x. Or you end up with 8 equals 8, all true statements. Okay? If you end up with something like that, that means any number works. Okay? There's tons of solutions that would work. Now, just some little hints would be it's the exact same on both sides. You get the exact same thing. So they have same coefficients and constants. All right, I'm going to write that. The same coefficients and constants. All right, and finally, one solution would be like the ones we had been solving. Maybe you end up with like 3x plus 8 equals -4. Okay, there's not x's on both sides. You could work it out. You could take an 8 away. You could divide by 3. So you end up with like an answer at the end. You end up with like x equals 5. So you end up with an x on one side and then a constant on the other side. Those ones would have one solution. Once you guys start doing some of these, you'll start seeing like, hey, I get an answer at the end. Then it's one solution. It's got an answer. Or, hey, it's both the same. You might get infinite or no solutions. All right, now you guys are going to practice with solving special equations. So hopefully you can recognize if there's one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions. So you are going to go in the online math book. You can go through ClassLink. Remember, your username is your email and your password is your school password with a capital letter. You will find an assignment that says November 17th. Make sure you open that and complete it. You have 8 problems to try, and then we will practice this more tomorrow.